Yo, what it is, you know what it is. It's your man, King Musa. Welcome to the Cheat Sheet, where we decode success for professors, creators, and business owners. I'm your host, King Musa, and today we're talking about academic support and student success resources that can make all the differences in your college experience. Our guest today plays a crucial role in helping students excel academically at Stephen F. Austin State University. Joining us today is Megan Weatherly, the Executive Director of Lumberjack Learning Commons. She's here to share how students can maximize their resources and enhance their academic journey. Welcome,
Wow.
Miss Weatherly.
Okay.
Did I get that right?
You got it 100% right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I'm gonna find out more about it,
Okay.
but as a journalist, it's my job to kind of understand what you do a little bit. But before we jump into
Beautiful
that,
explanation.
yes, ma'am. Before we jump into that, I do want to know, what is a place that you like travel to that you truly remember? Because I know you travel out the country.
I've traveled a lot. Travel is one of my passions.
Okay.
So my husband and I were fortunate enough right after we got married to live abroad for 3 years. So we lived in Japan for 3 years. Since then, he's in the military. He's been stationed in Europe. And I mean, our military experience has just enabled us to travel the world.
Okay.
But when we were living in Japan, I was working as a print journalist for what's called Marine Corps Community Services. He was in the Marine Corps at the time.
Okay.
And that unit's job is to provide morale, welfare, and recreation activities for service members and their families overseas. And so I got to know a lot of people living across 7 bases on the tiny island we were in the middle of the ocean. And one of the people I got to know was the travel director. And he was a prior Marine, former Marine, and he would lead trips to like battle sites all over the island of Okinawa. But he also led them to Iwo Jima. And Iwo Jima is a tiny island, site of a famous battle in World War II.
Yeah.
And you can't just hop on a plane and go there. You have to either be part of the Japanese military or on one of these military flights going for a return trip. And I conned him into letting me go.
Yeah.
And I took a photographer with me. We got to climb Mount Suribachi, go down on the beaches, which what they don't tell you is Iwo Jima is a volcanic island. It's rising. It smells like sulfur all the time because it's still active.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really neat. You can see the old pillboxes. But it was just this very surreal moment. My degrees are in history. So as a history student, to be at that site was
You felt like a little kid, huh?
It was transformative, and to hike up Mount Suribachi, which at the time I was like 25, like I was in good shape.
Yeah.
And it's
still
like,
in good
it's
shape.
Like a 45
yeah.
degree angle to get up there. And like these little 18-year-old Marines are just like running past me, just making me irritated. But to think about, those Marines that summited Suribachi that day, well, that was a feat.
Man.
Not on a paved road like I was on. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, I would say that's probably one of the most meaningful.
You said the name like 4 times, and each time I said, bro, you need to pay attention in geology class or something. Like, I did not know where any of those places were, but I am in Western civilization, so hopefully I can ask my professor, Dr. Sutherland, about that.
So he's in my home department. So Okinawa, where we lived, is about 1,000 miles south of kind of Tokyo, Japan. It's part of Japan, but it was formerly part of China. So it's this weird blend of like Chinese and Japanese traditions and cultures.
And how do you spell it?
OkinawA. I didn't know there was a spelling test today.
Sorry, because then if my captions are wrong because I didn't know how to spell it, then I look bad. But now you just gave me each letter, and I just go in and I fixed it. But let's go ahead and jump on in. Can you introduce yourself and what you do here at SFA?
Sure. So my name is Megan Weatherly. It's my privilege to serve as the Executive Director of the Lumberjack Learning Commons.
Yes, ma'am.
So the Lumberjack Learning Commons is a compilation of 6 units responsible for academic support and for experiential learning.
Right.
So those 6 units are the ARC, which everybody knows. Yes. Right? The Office of International Programs, which is responsible for study abroad. They're also the home for our international student population.
Shout out Global Gateway.
Global Gateway. Musa was with us last week. It was awesome. The Student Success Center, which is responsible for a variety of programming to support students. Our SFA Makerspace. And the Center for Teaching and Learning, and our new Center for Professional and Continuing Education. So
CCPD.
Yeah. So like they call it PACE.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
PCE sounds a little bit too much like CCPD, but they call it PACE, Professional and Continuing Ed,
Yes.
which are just all sorts of little jokes you can throw
Yes.
in with that.
Was it? Is it
That's
Brent?
Brent. Yeah, you've
Yes.
talked to
Oh
Brent, you've talked to
yes.
Cindy, you've talked to Rebecca, you've talked to like all my people.
Yes. Listen, the support y'all have in there, if you don't know, then y'all are just sitting in there just enjoying the AC. So I want people to know that no matter which version of learning you're in, whether you're a beginner and you need to be at the art,
Yep.
or you passed college and you need to be with PACE, one way or another, we are there. And to know I have finally got to the executive director, now I'm gonna really know what's going on. I like it.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of great services for students. You're right, at any stage of their learning journey. And it's this really great assemblage of people who care about your success, who
Yes.
care about like helping you persist all the way to graduation.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
providing the resources you need to get there. So I'm really fortunate. I work with an awesome team.
That's amazing. Before we jump into the team and what you do, though, I do want to know where did you grow up at? You know, did your parents go to school? Are you a first gen? You know, that part. And, what got you into wanting to do executive helping students in like collegiate stuff?
Sure.
That's, I think most people would be like, oh, I'll be a high school teacher or something.
Yeah.
And then you get to college and it's, nah, I like it.
No, it's been an interesting path. So I was born and raised in Nacogdoches.
Okay.
So my parents were both from here. I'm not a first gen. My mom was on the faculty here for 40 years, but she was a non-tenured track faculty member, right?
Okay.
So she did not hold a terminal degree. She didn't have the title of doctor. But she was unusual because she was a female.
Yeah.
In the College of Sciences and Mathematics, and specifically in geology at a time there just weren't a lot of females in that field.
Yes.
You know? So my mom was here. My dad was a small business owner here in town. I grew up like one block from campus, but I mean, I tell people like I was kind of raised on this campus. And I really was. I grew up running the halls of Miller Science.
Wow.
And when I turned 18, I was like, deuces, bye-bye, Nacogdoches, never coming back. And it's funny how you get those words. My parents were not in good health when I graduated high school.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll stay a year and I'll just like get my brother through till he can drive and then peace out, I'll transfer. And then I met my husband. He wasn't my husband at the time, obviously, but and I found two mentors here who are both still here.
Look at God. Come
who
on.
just changed my life.
Yes, ma'am.
So how did I get back in higher ed? I took a break from higher ed for a while. And found my way back because I knew I wanted to teach.
Okay.
And I got my graduate degree. And I was like, well, I know people at SFA.
Right.
And at the time I was developing online courses. So I was like, I know I can build an online history course.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's what I did. I started teaching remote when I was living out of the state. And then eventually a job opened here doing what I did. And I came back to NAC. And boy, I ate those words big time, didn't I?
I mean, listen.
I took a 10-year break though.
Right.
You know?
That I feel the same way about Houston. So then now I'm learning that be careful what you say, because you might end up eating them.
Testify.
Yes, ma'am. Now you did mention that traveling is one of your interests and like hobbies and stuff. What are some other ones?
So I play on a competitive quiz team. We're amazing. People boo us. They love us so much. Which is really unexpectedly just become this core group of friends that I've developed over the last years.
People boo us.
They boo us because, we're awesome.
Were you that student in class that was just, forget raising your hand, I'm just say it.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I was definitely the overachiever making the grades, but
I mean, you're on a quiz team. You're on a competitive quiz team.
I'm on a competitive
Is this like
quiz team.
Kahoot Pro?
On steroids. Kahoot on steroids, yeah. So I do that. I started taking piano lessons about 5 years ago. So I'm still, the piano and I are still coming to a pleasant place. And I play a lot of pickleball lately. So, yeah, it's kind of life outside of work. And then I still have family here, and so.
Did pickleball just come out of nowhere or like?
Dude, okay. So it's like I didn't hear about it until the last 2 years or so, and then suddenly it's like all these people playing pickleball. And I don't know, somebody just asked me, I've only been playing like 6 months or so. Somebody asked me 6 months ago, like, you want to try this? I was like, I played tennis growing up.
Right.
So I was like, the skills are transferable, right? So, yeah, I've been playing pickleball.
So now, seeing the difference, knowing that you play tennis, right? How do you feel about it? Like, you're still playing it. So would you rather play tennis or pickleball? If I'm like one-on-one, let's go.
Yeah, no, it's 6 one, half dozen the other, right? Like,
Okay.
I like pickleball because it's a little bit I don't know, it's just a little bit faster, and you're more likely to play doubles, which makes the game a little more
Right.
fun. So for now, I'll say pickleball.
Okay.
It's less running than
Yes.
tennis, which in my
Yes.
advanced age now, I'm interested in the less running part.
I like it. I understand the
Running is a
concept.
copay now. You know, like, we're
Mm.
just gonna have a copay
Yeah.
for the insurance.
Mm.
So
That works. I'd rather just walk. Yeah. We're gonna switch sides, right? We
okay.
got to know about this career. What would you say is your vision and the role of the Lumberjacks Learning Commons?
Yeah, so the Learning Commons is really about supporting the development of scholarly teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So our faculty who are highly educated in their subject matter, about helping them become highly educated about how to be an effective teacher.
Right.
And then creating future ready students.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
students who know how to learn and relearn, because your market's changing all the time, right? And so we just really want to serve as kind of this hub, right? This hub for learning, for advocacy, for services that you guys need,
Right.
and serve as that resource to connect you to resources, to ideas, and to each other. So that's really the goal,
Mm-hmm.
and to support you to persist in your academic journey, because the most expensive degree you can get or the most expensive education you can have is the degree you don't get.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we want you're paying good money to be here. We want you to walk out of here with a degree,
Mm-hmm.
and it's our job to help you get there.
Okay. Okay. And how long have you been doing it? Like, how long have you been in the
So I've
position?
been in this role for 2.5 years.
Okay.
Prior to this, I served as the director of the Center for Teaching and Learning. So you had Dr. Kilpatrick,
Yes.
who's the director of the CTL now.
Yes.
She's amazing. So I came back to SFA to be what's called an instructional designer or a learning designer. And so that's working with faculty to just design learning experiences that yield actual learning, right?
Right.
It's taking what we know about cognitive neuroscience and how the brain works, and how do we design a learning experience that gets you there.
You're right.
And so I did that for a long time, and primarily was focused on online education. And I thought that's what my passion was.
Yeah.
But I came to realize my passion is really like teaching and learning and student support, like student academic support.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's kind of evolved and grown over time.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's the involvement of the learning that you just meant, that everybody's supposed to be having.
Yeah.
I like it.
So it's been an evolution, but I love it now.
Yeah.
It's little bits and pieces. I lived abroad, and so now I'm working with international programs. I was an advisor when I was at a different institution. I was at Texas State for a while, and I get to work with advisors now.
Right.
So it's just little bits and pieces of all these things. It's funny how it all comes together, you know? I never thought that it would come together like this.
You don't have to. You're not supposed to think it. You're supposed to enjoy the journey.
That's true. You are wise, Musa.
Well, we'll have that conversation after. What I want to know is the challenges, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've been in this position for 2 years. You mentioned, the journey and everything. What are the challenges in your position?
In my role?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got 99 problems and budget's always one.
Yep.
Right? And you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. But I mean, just there's a lot of need on this campus and a finite set of resources.
Right.
Whether that's human resources, we all need more people,
Mm-hmm.
or like just budget to spend. So it's always about, and I always tell my team, my job really is to clear hurdles out of their way and find the resources for them to do what they need to do. So you talked to Dr. Guidry previously, and he mentioned like our ARC tutors now get paid $15 an hour. It's amazing, right?
Hey, but they do a lot of hard work, so I could respect it. Go be an ARC tutor.
$15 an hour.
On campus, you're on campus. You don't need to drive. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, but they were making like $10 an hour, and we'd have tutors leave to go like work at Chick-fil-A or Chipotle. And so that was one of the things we were able to do. So that was a resource we went after, to be like, we need the best of the best, and we need them to not be working at Chick-fil-A. Nothing wrong with Chick-fil-A.
Right. But we want the best because this is an institution.
Well, and when we think about what helps you build towards your career,
right,
that experience in the ARC, I think, will probably help you build towards your career more than Chick-fil-A, which is not to say it doesn't have redeeming qualities too. It does.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that's my primary
challenge.
Primary challenge usually is budget.
Okay.
I would say that's number one. And also it's just a negotiation across campus, right?
Right.
It's constantly networking, building partnerships, making sure that you're working with people and aligning what you're doing. You don't want to be doing the same thing in 40 different places. So just communicating. Okay.
So communicating, finding the right resources, those naturally are some of the challenges. As far as success stories, right? Because most people hear about these things and they're just like, I don't think I need it. Like, I don't need the arc until, yeah, now you're on academic, until it's too late.
Yeah.
And I was a product of it, and that's why I'm so big about it now, and making sure everybody know who they're talking to, what they provide, and how it helps you. So to me, what is that side of the success story? How did the narrative change from I don't mind getting help?
And that's part of the messaging we're really working on with the ARC
Hmm.
is not so much that you come to the ARC because you're in a place where you need help. You come to the ARC because that's just part of what you do as your college experience, right? Like it's kind of this level setting of
Yes.
we should all be in the ARC because we can all be doing better. So as far as success stories, man, one of the joys of my job is I get to see students at these high highs,
Yes.
right? Like if I'm running into them, usually it's because something's going right.
Mm-hmm.
So we have loved seeing students who have just turned their academic journey around as a result of the ARC. The Student Success Center runs a lot of first generation programming as well.
Okay.
So to hear about these students, we have this thing on the wall where they write like, "I'm first gen proud because."
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorites is a student wrote because my parents brag on me now. They can brag on me because I'm in college. I'm gonna be the first in my family to graduate from college. And when you see them walk the stage, oh my gosh, it's just sorry I hit
No,
my
you're
mic
fine. You're
there.
fine.
It's just it reminds you that we do what we do to get them to that end.
Yes.
And then lately in the last year, we've opened the makerspace year and a half. And man, some of the creativity that comes out of there is just amazing. So we had a student make a ukulele, like you can play it. He 3D printed a ukulele last year. It was pretty cool. We've had some students just making like entire board games. One of our students right now is building a robotic hand.
Wow.
You should go over and see it. It's
Yes.
pretty sweet.
Okay. We might even have to do an interview with him. So.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah,
Yes.
his name's Kamari. He's awesome.
Okay. Yes, he sits there,
Yep.
very long dreads.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that dude's amazing.
Kamari's
Okay.
awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
So last summer I walked in, I was like, Kamari, I want this robotic hand, and I want it to be in a glove where it can mimic like what you do when you're wearing the glove because I want to be able to throw the axe. And he was like, okay, and he did it.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing. So
wow.
those little nuggets kind of keep you going through the days where you're like, oh crud, we're over budget. You know, we got to figure out how to read that. So it's helpful to have those and to be able to have experiences like this, talking to students and seeing as you are learning as you're becoming a professional and growing as a human being. Oh, that's where it's at.
I can't, we're almost done. We're going to get into the juice of everything after we get off of this. But I want to know for the audience, right? What are some initiatives, programs, events going on in the Lumberjack Learning Commons?
Yeah, so I'm really fortunate. I get to work with the provost office and with UT System on a whole bunch of initiatives. So we're doing some really cool stuff right now on the faculty side, helping our faculty become better teachers.
Yes.
So Dr. Guidry told you about a few of those. So AQ, and we're doing the Student Experience Project, which is really centered on notions of belonging in the classroom, which is really cool. But as far as new initiatives coming for students, we've been working a lot on micro-credentials. So these are really short, kind of compact learning experiences that you can do from companies like Google or Meta. And they're certificates you can put on your LinkedIn, on your resume, and they're worth a lot in the job market. So standing that up has been something I've worked on that's been pretty fun. And then we're doing a lot with advising right now, making our advising, making sure that it's consistent across the student experience so that whether you're in the College of Liberal Arts or you're in the College of Forestry, you're getting a similar experience.
Ooh.
And figuring out how to measure that.
Yes. Okay.
So that's fun. It's a lot of data analysis. It's a lot of continuous improvement work, which sounds really like...
No, I want to know how'd you get the information, because everything that you just said that y'all are in, like, getting ready to do are things that students were just complaining about last semester. So now to know, they already on it. And I'm sitting here, wait, where? I didn't fill out a survey. Where?
It's coming. Although I feel like y'all get over-surveyed. I feel like everybody's asking for your opinion all the time. So part of it is like, how do we not like beat you with more surveys? How do we get that information in an easier way where you just don't look at your inbox and be like, oh, there's not enough Chick-fil-A gift cards in the world to make me fill this out.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, that's pretty exciting. Now, outside of the programs, what advice do you have for students who want to pursue, a career where you're at. You know, they done heard your journey and they're like, you know what, I want to help people out because I've seen what school has done for me,
Yeah.
and I want to be right there.
So 110% you should do it, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more of a profession than I ever imagined it would be.
Okay.
That there's a lot of research out there that supports what we do. We don't make these decisions in a vacuum. So to go educate yourself about that background, so that could be getting your master's degree in student affairs and higher ed. We have a program here, going somewhere else. But working in that space is critical.
Right.
So as far as just your career progression, I would say there's no substitute for a good work ethic.
Yeah.
Working hard gets you a lot of places. But also you've got to be able to balance that with some other things in your life.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I'm very big on starting from a place of gratitude and moving through a place of service.
Yes.
So whether that's you're answering a military call of service, or you're chairing a committee at your PTO, or you're serving on a committee at your place of worship, whatever that looks like for you, I'm a big believer in service.
Okay.
And what you learn through those opportunities. And I think you have to have a servant's heart to be in the higher education space.
Right.
Because if you're not in it for other people and you're in it for yourself, you're in it for the wrong reasons. So
Because you're not to say you won't make good money, but no, we're not here for the money making. We're not, because you're gonna piss me off and I'm not gonna want the money anymore and I'm gonna be ready to leave. So yeah, if you're looking to pursue higher education, not for the money. Okay.
Not for the money, but there's a lot of free T-shirts and pizza in it.
Yeah, my whole closet. I love it.
You're in those spaces all the time.
Yes, ma'am. Now, advice for just graduating the semester. We just started, so your whole thing is learning is important, right? So what tips, advice, tricks can student use to succeed for the rest of the semester and get to that degree?
Yeah, so I would say one, so I taught for many, many years before I was full-time in administration. I still taught part-time when I was full-time.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I would say there's a big difference between effort and mastery. So sometimes I would have students come and they'd be like, I worked so hard on this paper, which I appreciate so much, and that will get you so far in life. But unfortunately, it's not my job to assess how hard you worked, right? It's my job to assess how well you've mastered this content or this skill. So being mindful of that. Remind me what the question was.
No, it's just some advice, some tricks. Yes.
Yeah, retrieval is a big one. So when we think about how the brain works, no matter what grade level you are, to be able to self-quiz and test yourself on material is really important. Obviously, you got to go to class every single time, even though you don't want to.
Even though they say I don't like attendance isn't mandatory in this class, I still got to show up.
You still got to go to class.
I'm going to be in the library.
And the library is an amazing place, especially that first floor, which is where the bulk of the learning is, right? And we're working really hard to make the rest of it a nice space.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's you got to show up, and so much of the work is just showing up.
Yes, ma'am.
So get to know your faculty members, really get to know them as humans.
Yeah.
Those relationships, like I said, I have 2 mentors here on campus that I got as an undergraduate who are still mentors to me now as a professional.
Okay.
And one of them, like when I have an issue, that's still the person I call to this day to be like, I need some perspective.
Shout out NGDs.
I mean, what a great human to have as a mentor. I just can't hammer that enough.
Yes,
like
ma'am.
the value of human beings in your experience. So it's not you're just working for that diploma,
Come
right?
on.
It's not the end. It really is the journey and the means and the pieces that you pick up along the way.
Y'all heard it? Do I gotta say anything else? Y'all, she done told y'all everything you need to know to succeed in this, and then what departments to go to, so we know exactly who to come to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss.
For taking the time out. Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you, Miss Weatherly, for sharing your insight and incredible academic support available at SFA. To all our students here, remember that success is within reach when you use the right resource. If you need tutoring, study space, or academic coaching, make sure you check out the Lumberjack Learning Commons. Subscribe to the cheat sheet, and follow us on social media. And tune in for more conversations with campus leader. This is King Musa signing off. Stay focused and keep